basket suspended underneath. So Niles underlining suspended, Jeffrey underlining suspended. A burner sits in the basket and is used to heat the air inside the envelope through an opening. This heated air generates lift by way of a buoyant force. See Rendell underlining buoyant force, Meyer already has it underlined. The hot air inside the envelope is less dense than the surrounding cooler air. This difference in density causes the hot air balloon to be lifted off the ground due to the buoyant force created by the surrounding air. The principle behind this lift is called Archimedes' principle. Repeat after you hear me snap, Archimedes' principle. Archimedes' principle. Which states that any object, regardless of its shape, that is suspended in a fluid, water or air, is acted upon by an upward buoyant force, equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So an object floating in water stays buoyant using the same principle as the hot air balloon. The figure below illustrates Archimedes' principle for an object suspended in a fluid. Notice the buoyant force arrow and the gravity force arrow are equal. You're going to refer back to this diagram in a second. Turn the page one more time. Lauren doing some great annotation, underlining key ideas as well as key vocabulary. Okay, here's a little practice. I'm going to circulate and assist if you need it, but you may need to refer back to the text for part 1 and part 2. Part 1, circle the correct word in parentheses. I'm going to read all 3 of them and then come around and see where people are at. According to Archimedes' principle, a hot air balloon will float if the buoyant force is greater/less than the force of gravity. 2, an object with a higher/lower density than the air or water that surrounds them will float. 3, increasing thermal energy will cause increase or decrease in a substance density. Part 2, draw and label 3 force diagrams that show a hot air balloon rising, sinking, and staying at the same altitude. Include arrows that represent buoyancy and gravity. Hint, look back at the diagram on the previous page. India going back to her text, Malaysia going back to her text. Malaysia's got her paper folded so she can see both. 30 seconds. People are already moving on to our part 2. Back on me in 3, 2, 1. Let's fix our first position. Thank you, Justin, for turning and tracking. As we check over these, you can correct your answer. Get ready to show some gang signs. 1 for greater or less. 1 for higher or lower. We're going to do each one at a time. For number 1, if you circled greater, you're going to show a 1. If you circled less, you're going to show a 2. Twist up. 1, 2, 3, show. Kelsey, why did you show a 1? Yes, but I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard you say in a loud, high school ready professional voice. Wait, Kelsey, I'm sorry, I'm not playing again. Sit up and project. You got one of the loudest voices I've heard. Yeah.
I said because on the picture it says 1 is the voice. It's green and the right hand.
Number 2, if you circled higher, you're going to show a 1. If you circled less, you're going to show a 2. Fist up. Elbow by your ear, fist above your head. So I can collect this data. 1, 2, 3, show. Okay, we've got a little bit of confusion here. Let me hear from Justin, why it's a 1, and Nia, why do you think it's a 2? Justin.
Because of the fluid and the density, they were greater. I mean, the density was lower than the
Okay, the density is lower. Is lower than the fluid? Is that what you're saying? Did you circle higher or lower? Higher? Okay, Nia, listen real close. Anybody who's showing a 2, listen to Nia and compare his answer to Justin. Nia?
I think it would be lower because this is the higher side the envelope is less dense than surrounding fluid. And then density causes the higher fluid. So density causes the higher fluid off the ground.
Okay, so Nia's going back to the text where we see that something with lower density is going to float. So change your answer. Number 3, increasing thermal energy will cause an increase or decrease. 1 if you circled increase, 2 if you circled decrease. Fist up. 1, 2, 3, elbow by ear, fist above your head. Show. Chalice, why do you think it decreases? Turn and kind of face over here and project. Chalice, turn and track, but you move your hand away from your face. Show me that you're high school ready. Chalice, turn so you're projecting to the whole time. Thank you, showing a lot of professionalism right now. So we know that lower density floats, so you can say that increasing the thermal energy will decrease density. The one connection, Jonas, that I would want you to add is your prior knowledge about hot air balloons, saying that because I know a hot air balloon floats, its density is less. So if we heat something up, its density must decrease. Okay, part 2, we will revisit before our exit ticket. I want to make sure we have time to redesign our engineering project. Turn the page. Working with your group, you're going to draw a new diagram with improvements from yesterday. You have 5 minutes for your redesign, and then 5 minutes to build it. Who has any questions? Great question. Yes, you must decide on one design to build. Work out problems with your group. If you need assistance, raise your hand and I will be there. Just
Shouldn't be about like 10 minutes.
I'm going to challenge y'all to do it in 5. If you need more time, we will see about giving it, but our time is limited. Go. If your group has decided on a design, as Christian said, ask and I will allow you to begin after the question.
We did it already. I'm coming to y'all next note and y'all hang on.
Mr. Trant?